What's up, guys? This is Sean, and I am bringing you something a little bit different. I'm going to be playing some hardcore headquarters here, but I am not going to talk about this gameplay other than the fact that I failed a couple times, and I get a fucking friendly napalm dropped on me, which sucks because I was pretty close to my lethal kill streak. I want to take the time in this video, and I want to discuss weapon selection. Weapon selection seems to be a pretty hot topic among people, and it tends to be more along the lines of the people who are struggling. And one of the biggest things in the most important things that I can emphasize when it comes to weapon selection: take the map into account. Some guns are much better suited for certain maps than others are. I have seen a complete and utter fascination with the AK-74U. I see it used on maps that I personally would never use it on. It is a great, do not get me wrong, it is a good weapon. It is a strong weapon. It is a very, very versatile weapon. It's something that a good, solid objective player, a good, solid support player could run with. But I see it in situations to where it kind of doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I see people trying to use it on larger maps, and WMD is a prime example. Like I didn't see this guy in the corner, and he butt fucks me, so what are you gonna do? But I see people using the AK-74U in maps like WMD. WMD is a really, really large map. It does have a couple areas to where a submachine gun would be useful, but for in the most part where the action goes down is around the BDOM area. And the one thing that I can promise you is that any of the assault rifles, any of them, I mean the FAL even, the M14 or whatever the hell it's called, would be better suited for those situations than the AK-74U. I don't want to bash that gun at all. I don't think it's overpowered. I just think it is a very versatile submachine gun. However, its versatility has limitations. Typically what I try and do, and this is something that I think could help everybody out in the long run, is literally try and get as many challenges with as many guns done as you possibly can. Utilize the MP5, which is one of the harder guns in the game to use. Utilize guns like the Enfield. I used it a little bit tonight just to try and get comfortable with it, because what happens is, and this is a lot of times, if you're like me, I run typically a Strela on every class. If the enemy team is not getting up air support, I'm going to run across the dead body and I'm going to pick up a weapon. Well, at one point in time when my primary weapon is out of ammo, I need to be able to switch to a gun that I'm comfortable with. Something that I know how to use, something that can win me some gunfights, or that I can manipulate enough to where it wins me some gunfights. This map example, Radiation, this is a good medium to long range map. Not a lot of really areas that I think a submachine gun would really shine on, so I really don't see, the purpose of doing it. Typically what I see, and I don't know what the fuck that guy was doing. Typically the people that I see that should be running, 74U, MP5, any of the submachine guns are typically the objective players or the objective support players, because those are people who are going to be probably running into the most action in close quarter situations. And in all honesty, it is, you would have better options. This map specifically, you would be better off with the FAMAS or an AUG. The fire rates on those two guns are extremely, extremely high. The hip fire on them is really, really good, and they will help you. You probably more likely to win gunfights with those weapons than you would with certain other weapons. I kind of pride myself and take a lot of pride in the fact that I seem to know what guns to use on certain maps. like Array, for example. Array, that is a long-range map. That is a good map for the M16, the G11, the Galil. This map is a good medium to long-range map because you'll see there's not a lot of tight corners. There's not a lot of places to where hip fire is really going to come into play and help you too much. Yeah, you might run into a ghost guy every once in a while, but in all honesty, guys, 9 times out of 10, if you're running into somebody running ghost, you're going to get panic knifed. So to me, it's a lose-lose situation. But gun selection is just so important. If you're struggling to get those higher kill streaks, you need to make sure that you have a go-to weapon. One weapon that every time that you pick it up, you feel comfortable with it. Whether it is the Galil, the FAMAS, M16, whatever. I try not to have a go-to weapon. If I was to pick one, I would honestly have to say it's either going to be the AK or the Galil. I mean, those two guns I think are very good and very versatile and well-rounded in everything. The Galil reminds me a lot of the Scar from Modern Warfare 2, and the AK is the AK. It's a very high power, high damage gun. It's got a good fire rate. Hip fire on it's pretty solid, and you can predominantly do quite a bit of work with it. On that note, what do you guys typically run with? If you had to pick one class, what would you say? Like, let's say if we were going into a game on jungle, what would your class setup would be? Is it the M16, which I think works real well on that map? Here's kind of my ideal setup for sub-maps. If you're going to be running flanks on Havana, that is an awesome time in a map that the submachine guns really shine. Nuketown is another one. I see so many people camping in those rooms. Everything seems to be pretty close quarters. That's another good submachine gun map. My favorite submachine gun, this is going to sound really, really weird, and I don't use it as much as I'd like to, but I've been using it a lot lately. I'm loving the Mac 11. You throw extended mags on the Mac 11 with Scavenger, and you can get some work done. Believe it or not, it is actually a pretty good gun. It's got pretty decent range. It is a low damage weapon, but there's not a lot of bounce to it, and it'll drop somebody at some pretty fair distance. Oh, Crisis. Crisis is another map. Crisis is actually one of those maps that you could pretty much use any gun and do well, but if you're going to use certain weapons, you need to stick to certain areas of the map. Like a submachine gun down at B-Dom on that map is phenomenal. AK-74U, MP5, watch this fail. I'm going to get my meat grinded. Love it. But yeah, gun selection is key. Also, making sure that you're very proficient with all of the guns is a pretty good idea. I do that by going through challenges. Assault rifles, I try and get 300 kills on as many as I can, and I try and get at least 150 kills with the submachine guns as I'm leveling up. It gives me, it makes me feel a lot comfortable to where if I have to pick up a gun, I don't have to be choosy about what gun I pick up. That helps me out a great deal. Like, you might see me pick up the Enfield, do some work with it, or pick up an M14. Those are solid weapons. They can get the job done. Hell, dual-wielding Scorpions. I mean, just try it. Give it a shot. A couple things before this video wraps up I want to talk about. I've had a bunch of people want me to commentate on some of their gameplay. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to run a contest. We're going to do it once every 2 weeks. We're going to start it on Friday the 10th. I think it's Friday. Yeah, Friday the 10th. I'll take a week for submissions. I want something interesting. I want something out of the norm. I don't want a Nuketown game with 100+ kills to where you raped them in their spawn with the chopper gunner. I want something to where it's different, something that stands out, something that I can actually utilize and that my subscribers can utilize to learn from. If you guys want to do that, feel free, post video responses to this video. I will take all of them, or if you just want to shoot me a PM with the gameplay, I'll take a look at it and we'll go from there. Guys, I hope some of these tips helps with the gun selection. If you guys want me to get a little bit more detailed with as far as my classes goes, leave a comment, let me know. But I've got some real good stuff coming out for you guys, and as always, I hope you enjoyed this as much as I did. Thanks for watching. Please remember to like, dislike, comment, and subscribe. Talk to you soon.